What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. I can't believe it's been 20 years since I actually sat down in a theater and watched an Independence Day movie. So was the 20-year wait worth it, or did this movie fall flat on its ass? Let's take a look at Independence Day Resurgence. If you remember a couple months ago, I actually did a trailer review on this film, and I was really excited, and that makes it all the more difficult to have to crap on this movie. You know, I'm totally flattered because this movie has me at a loss for words at what a colossal disappointment it is. To be honest with you, I don't even know where to begin on how many problems this film has. I guess we'll start with the characters first. These have to be the most unrelatable, the most cliched and bland characters I've ever seen in a film. I mean, it's like the director went down a checklist of every possible cliche he can find and just checked it off. So let's just go down the checklist, shall we? You have the hotshot pilot who has a problem with authority. Check. You have the goofball comic relief idiot pilot who's in the film just to make you laugh, or supposedly make you laugh. Check. You have the eye candy for every teenage boy Asian pilot. Check. And then you have the honorable pilot who's pissed off at the hotshot pilot because he's not responsible enough, and they have a beef because of something that happened in the past that they don't even show in the film. Check. No, wait. It gets even better. You also have Bill Pullman's daughter, the ex-president, who's now working in the White House, who is an ex-pilot and is in love with the current hotshot pilot. If that's not convenience, I don't know what the hell is. In terms of the new cast in this film, I was 30 minutes into it, and I was already rooting for the aliens, because they had more character development than any of the cast so far in this movie. Oh my god, the dialogue in this movie. Look, when something is poorly written, there's nothing in the world that can save it, but it's only compounded when your actors don't know how to deliver a line. For example, somebody in this film says, "It's the 4th of July. Let's show them some fireworks." Somebody actually wrote that down. Somebody actually thought that, put it to pen, and then put it in this movie. Damn. Now, one of the other new characters that I have to mention is who I like to call Red Beret Guy. This guy is in a different movie. It's almost like if he showed up to a casting call and he was on the wrong set and the director said, "Yeah, okay, we'll keep him." The really weird thing about Red Beret Guy is that he's actually really good. He's actually one of the coolest things in the movie. He's just so out of place that it becomes jarring after a while. It's abundantly clear that the only reason that this character made it into the film was to support a very contrived plot device. And here's the ultimate kick in the nuts. The way they introduce this character and make him part of the narrative in this film is actually 10 times more interesting, and I would rather have seen that movie made. From the original trailer that I reviewed, I was really excited that Celia Ward was going to be in the film. Unfortunately, she's highly underutilized, and this is something that was really disappointing for me. She didn't really do anything except give a few underwhelming speeches and make one stupid decision after another. Essentially, this role could have been played by me. Now, as you already know, some of the original cast members make it into this film, and I feel like I have to lump them together with the overall plot of this film because it's a little ridiculous. Now, if you like Jeff Goldblum, you're gonna like Jeff Goldblum in this movie because he's the smartest guy in the world, and he always figures things out just in time. Vivica Fox also makes a return in this film, and it's true, I thought that strippers were just lying to me, but evidently, they're actually paying their way through medical school. Yep, that's right. The stripper with a heart of gold is actually a doctor now. Now, apart from perpetuating that cliche, I don't know what the hell she was doing in this movie. Okay, I'll be a little fair to the movie. Her son is actually one of the pilots that is supposed to save the world. He's also Will Smith's son, and it looks like he's following in the footsteps of his father. Too bad he didn't listen to his dad and completely avoided this film altogether. I'm just saying. You know, and that's another thing that really bothered me about this film. Will Smith's character essentially saved the world, and they kind of glazed over why he wasn't in the movie. Like, alright. Bill Pullman is also in the movie, and he doesn't do anything except give another speech like in the first movie, only this one wasn't as good. Now, get prepared because from here on in this review, there's going to be a lot of I call bullshit moments in terms of character and plot. So Brent Spiner is in this movie too, and if you remember, he was the dorky, odd scientist that was working at Area 51. And this is really not a spoiler because he's all over the trailers, but we're meant to believe that this guy didn't actually die in the first film. He was in a coma for 20 years. Okay, so let's just assume that we believe the whole I'm in a coma for 20 years, But as soon as he comes out of the coma, he's up and walking around like if nothing. As a matter of fact, he starts to use heavy machinery.
Well, actually, I figured since it wasn't due till Monday. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think the fly thing. I gotta have time to recover.
Jeff Goldblum's father also makes a return in this film, and again, I don't know what the hell he was doing in this movie, except for making things exponentially worse. I'm not sure if the director of this film, by this time in the movie making process, was just watching a lot of Bob's Burgers, because after having been rescued by a bunch of kids that are just on the road, he runs into another group of kids that are on the road, and they're all wearing bunny ears. And what do you do with a school bus full of kids that are all wearing bunny ears? Well, you go out in the middle of the desert and drive to Area 51, of course. Guys, let me let you in on a little secret, and I know this from personal experience. If you go and drive out in the middle of the desert to a top secret military installation, chances are they're not gonna let you in. Especially during an alien invasion.
Well, actually, I figured since it wasn't due till Monday. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think the fly thing. I gotta have time.
My other major gripe with this movie has less to do with plot and character development and just overall science, right? One of the characters in the movie clearly says it's landed in the Atlantic. Somebody asks him where in the Atlantic, and he says the entire Atlantic. The entire Atlantic. Again, let me ask you a very basic question. If there was a ship so massive in scale that it covered the entire Atlantic, again, the entire Atlantic, don't you think that would have adverse effects on not only the Earth's gravitational field, but also the weather? And in this film, everything is beautiful. As a matter of fact, the skies look amazing. Sure, they do have a scene where there's a big wave heading towards a city. But again, in actuality, a ship that massive would displace so much volume that sea levels would rise globally on an unprecedented scale. That's to say nothing about the incredible amount of seismic activity. This essentially would be an extinction level event. There would be no need for the aliens to attack us directly. We'd already probably be dead.
Well, actually, I figured since it wasn't due till Monday. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think the fly thing. I gotta have time.
Guys, I can go on and on about the plot holes and the general lack of science in this movie, but I don't have all day, and that's kind of bordering on spoilers, and I don't want to do that for those who haven't seen the movie yet. The other thing that really aggravated the shit out of me about this movie is that it's really not sure what it wants to be, if it wants to be a drama or a comedy. Some of the dramatic things in this movie didn't make me feel anything, and some of the things that were supposed to be funny were really stupid. It was just awkward all around, and it didn't do any of them very well. And finally, in keeping with the theme of how much this film has a real identity crisis, there's a constant theme that's being jammed down your throat about universality, respecting other cultures, and coming together in unity. But they even fucked that up. It's like a slap in the face because they use every single cliched minority stereotype imaginable. Honestly guys, this movie's a mess. It has terrible dialogue, bland characters, it uses every single cliche that you can find in a film, and it is riddled with plot holes. Alright guys, so that's my official review on Independence Day Resurgence. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.
Bye.